And then we have Nastia. Oh my God, I just forgot. And she was gymnast, 5 medals. Well, and all right, we can't wait to talk to us about branding.
Hi, everyone. Now, this is going to be a very interactive discussion today, because we want to talk about the power of branding. But how do you know what the power of branding is if you don't immerse yourself into the activities required to create your own brand? But first, I want to introduce myself and tell you who I am, but then also share a little bit about branding and how it impacts your everyday world. So my name is Mahisha Dellinger, and I'm the founder of Curls Beauty Brands. Curls is an organic hair care company that creates products for women and girls embrace their natural curls. So I started this back in 2002 from an idea all the way to a multi-million-dollar company because of branding. Branding enabled me to, number one, understand who I am as a company, who I'm catering to as a customer, and where we're going as a company. I had to have those plans laid out and clearly understood before I can go to market. And so sometimes we come to market with ideas that are grand and amazing, and then we execute without understanding exactly who we're talking to. And that could be detrimental to a brand. So I want to tell you all about the importance and talk to you all about the importance of branding out the gate. I'm going to give you a few moments to get your pens and paper ready to go, because we're going to have some activities to do. So take the next 2-3 minutes while I'm talking to get a pen and paper, okay? Because I'm going to have some questions for you to help you going with your branding exercise. Okay, so first, what is branding? The power of branding is the ability to influence people's decision-making and purchases and their buying habits. As soon as you have the power to set your price, no matter how high someone else believes it is, you are an expert branding company. Now, when you're able to have almost similar or identical products as your competition, but can command 2 or 3 times more than your competition, you're a power brander. When you're able to bring something to market 3 or 4 or 5 cycles later than the number one industry leader and take over their market share, you're a power brander. And that's what we want to get to, is the power of branding and influencing your market and impacting your customer and shaking up the industry. So a good brand reputation, which is a part of branding, is what enables you to command and set your pricing. A good brand reputation connects you to your customer. A good brand reputation communicates what you are and what value you bring to your consumer. So think about Apple. Why do we spend so much every year on a brand new Apple phone every single year? Why do we put forward a Tesla over a Toyota? Why do we choose Nike over New Balance? It's all about the power in branding. And so it's the sexiness that comes with it, but the understanding behind the sexiness that enables you to go, I'm going to capture Mahisha Dellinger, age 46, mother of 4, entrepreneur that enjoys life but lives with a very busy schedule. So what am I going to bring to her to give her value? I'm going to make her life more convenient. I'm going to give her the perks and the whistles and everything that she wants to make her extracurricular time feel a little bit more comfortable. You have to understand exactly what your value proposition is to your customer, and that will connect them to your brand. And sometimes the branding is a brand proposition that talks about giving back to the community. It can be about, like Tom's Shoes, where you actually are supporting an event that is more important than the product itself. It's almost a charitable brand that has more than just the product, but they're tapping into the emotional connection to people who care about the environment. So when we're thinking about branding, we have to think of all those things together collectively before we actually go to market. So I want you guys to get your pens and your paper ready, because I have a few questions for you that we're going to kind of work through and to help you start your brand proposition and your planning. And I want to know by the raising of hands, and just put a note and say yes, how many of you guys that are listening have a marketing plan in place now? Just say yes or say no in the comments. I want to understand who we're talking to. If you have a marketing plan or business plan, say yes. If you don't have one, please say no. I want to understand again who we're talking to. So the brand effect really is the psychological aspect of branding. The brand effect is the road between branding and impacting your consumers' decision making. That brand effect creates a halo of happiness when a customer comes in contact with you. Think about Starbucks. Starbucks coffee, I'm not a coffee drinker, but Starbucks coffee, I've been told, isn't as good as McDonald's, yet the lines are wrapped around the corner every morning for that Starbucks, which is 3 times higher in cost than McDonald's. That's branding. Why are we willing to camp out overnight to buy a pair of Air Jordans for the sake of, and for 3 times the amount of an Adidas pair? That's the art of branding. So we want to get you to understand how you can take your brand to a level of a Michael Jordan, a Starbucks, a Tesla, and Apple by honing in on a few key questions and answers, and then create your branding portfolio so that when you are ready to market, if you're not already, that you're set and ready to go. So the first question I have for you: what are your 3 most important brand values? What do you stand for as a company and as a brand? So take your pen and paper out and write down the top 3 things that are most important to you to deliver to your customer. Your 3 important brand values. For Curl specifically, it was important for us to create products that I feel good enough to use on my newborn baby. So that clean, that organic, that wholesome, but yet effective. So every step of the way, it's important for me to make sure that I deliver the quality, wholesome, organic product that I would be comfortable using on my baby, my brand new baby's hair. Now I have 4 kids, so every step of the way, I kept improving on that philosophy to make sure that I delivered to that promise. So let's make sure we talk down to your top 3 brand values. Write those down. And once we get through these questions, you'll be able to have your brand Bible to start with, and to at least have a rough draft so you can take that and create a nice, tight, succinct brand proposition. Now, we want to come up with 3 unique brand ideas to market yourself. We want to disrupt your industry. So if we have someone that's in, say, the beauty industry, say you have a skincare line, and you want to figure out how you can disrupt the current market because it's already oversaturated, and how can I stand apart amongst all of these amazing brands? What can I do to disrupt the market and add value? What are your 3 top unique attributes of your company? Take a few moments and write those down. If you only come up with 2, start with 2, but you want to have at least 3. And if I can get some notes in this comment section, I would love to hear what kind of companies we have with us today. If you can comment below and let me know who we're working with, I would love to hear from you. So we have 2 questions. Your value proposition of 3 most important areas that you are adding value to your customer, and your 3 unique ways that you can disrupt the category that you're in. Okay? Next, I want you to jot down 3 ways that you will wow and jazz your customer base. One thing that we like to do in the Curls family is to continue to elevate our brand by delivering exactly what our customer wants when they want it. The best way to do that is to be agile. So as you're branding your company and you are working towards creating this loyalty and this connection to consumer, you want to make sure that you stay in tune with them. And that can be part of your brand philosophy as well, is to have the most impeccable customer experience ever. That was Nordstrom's brand proposition. And they had the story that said, I don't know if it's a fable or not, but that a woman once returned a set of tires, automobile tires, to a store and got her a return, even though they never sold tires. Now, I don't know if that was a fable or not, but that showed a lot about Nordstrom's philosophy of the customer's always right. And that's why they were able to garner so much market share from Neiman Marcus, their top competition. So figure out what you want to do and how you're going to wow your consumer base, take market share, and also elevate your brand. And I'm still waiting for comments for those who own brands. I would love to see. Oh, here we go. Let's see. We have Tinsley Allison Designs. Okay, so Jennifer Heckman, tell me about Tinsley Allison Designs and what you do. Okay, next question. Let's identify your ideal customer. If you don't know who your ideal customer is, how do you know how to sell to him or her? You have to understand who she or he is. So let's think about it. Let's think about in the realm of age. Think about demographics. Let's think about lifestyle. Let's think about their socioeconomic brackets. Think about all those things and how they like to engage and like to be spoken to. If you have a brand that is cutting edge and tech savvy and tech friendly, then you're going to have a different customer than that beauty brand that's talking to the girl next door. So let's figure out the verb, how you're going to speak to her, your tone. All of those things are going to be important. And like the previous speaker said, you also want to print a picture of your ideal customer. That way in your boardroom and all your meetings, you have a clear visual as to who you're selling to and who you're branding to, so that way you can connect to her authentically, him or her authentically. Now, one thing that most of us do, and most of us worry about this, but I don't know how well we dive into our competition. So your competition, if you study your competition, you can know and figure out how to elevate. It doesn't matter if you are second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh to the category. If you level up your brand, you can wipe them all out. So study your competition and see how you can brand differently. Okay, so look at their messaging and make sure you are unique to you. Look at the packaging if you have a product-based company. And if you see a sea of brightly colored products in the category, you want to say be in Sephora. You want to shift gears and change that landscape and be able to capture the attention by being different from everyone else on that shelf. One other question we have for you, and I want you to take clear notes on this one. How do you make your clients feel? How does your product or service make your clients feel? So for example, if you are a baker, and I had a company that I mentored that makes the ace of cakes, kind of really decorative cakes, and the pretty, artsy cakes for birthday parties. Not only though are they made with the most wholesome ingredients, but they also taste amazing. So that's the difference that he had, so he speaks to that all the time. Not only does it look good, but it tastes good and it's good for you. So let's figure out how it makes you feel. So you feel good giving your babies or your children or your family a cake that is wholesomely curated. So think about those things. How does your brand make your customer feel? And another question you want to think about, and if I'm going too fast, let me know. I'm trying to get through all of my questions for you guys in appropriate time. I want you to think about what you do to make your customers trust you. Now, trust is very important, especially in this climate we're in. And so whoever you're speaking to, whatever your demographic is, the most important thing you can get from your customer is their trust. If they trust you, then they will follow your lead as you develop and continue to grow your brand with more products, more services. They will follow you along your path and your branded journey. So figure out ways where you can instill and encourage trust between your customer and your brand. And now we're going to talk about 5 words that you want to use in this brand Bible to figure out who you are. You have to figure out how to describe your brand, your company, and your customer base. So let's talk about the quality of your company or your product. Are you aiming to be a low quality, low price leader? That's no problem. I mean, there's many of those examples in the industry. Think of Walmart. They never set out to be a Nordstrom. They set out to be a low cost leader that has the more of the masses. So more number of stores, lower price, and that's what they lead with. So, or you can be high quality, high price, very niche. Understand your quality position. Consistency, importance here is to understand how consistent you are with your brand philosophy. So along the board, along the way, you see Walmart has never strayed from their position. They've always been a low cost leader. So make sure you're consistent when you figure out what your quality stance is. You want to talk about your commitment, your customer service, and also, as we spoke, your values. So let's talk about customer service again. That's going to be important to building trust, and you can't have a brand without trust. So all these notes and points are all about building trust so you can have a strong brand. So the trustworthiness comes from your customer service and your ability to connect and continue to deliver what you promise. Consistency, customer service, and quality. And one thing I like to do, and this is not considered stealing or robbing or copying, but figure out who inspires you. What brand in your category inspires you to be better? And kind of use that as a case study. One of the brands in my category that we all have looked at to see how we can grow our brands is Shea Moisture. Shea Moisture has been around for a very long time, and they have grown to a behemoth of a company. And so how they've gone about growing is what we look at to see how we can also scale our business. So look at the brand you admire and see what you can replicate to bring into your company branding wise to help brand yourself and encourage your customers to move forward with you and to trust your brand. We want to make sure that we also look at your brand language. How do you communicate? So, for example, curls. It's very important for us to speak not very formally, socially, but we speak very much of a curly girl next door tone. Hi, curly girl, how are you? Your curls are fly. We love them. You look amazing. Hi, gorgeous. How can we help you? Yes, your curls are fly. Like, it's conversational. We make sure that it's not stuffy. It's conversational. What's your language going to be with your consumer? How are you going to speak? Are you going to be that tech conversation? Are you going to have a more formal, rigid conversation, or is it more conversational? Understand the language and how they like to be spoken to. Each industry is different. Now, last but not least, we have a few more things, and branding is not all about web design. It's not all about your fonts you use. It's not all about the colors you choose. That's just a starting point. That is just the starting of creating a brand. So we have to obviously have fonts that you're going to use that are unified, colors that are going to be your color scheme. You have to figure out your logo, of course. That's just the very beginning. That is just the beginning of developing what you need to create a brand. That's not a brand. That's the beginning, scratching of the surface items that you cannot live without. Okay. So your logo, make sure your logo communicates exactly what you expect it to and want it to. I do suggest that with your logo creation and your color choices and your font selection, that you do have a focus group. When you know and go through all the questions that we just posed to you, and then you have a clear understanding and you edit this brand Bible down, then create the logo and then share it with a focus group and then see if your messaging is conveyed through that logo. And then you move forward. So you have to start with all these questions that we went through before you create the logo and the color scheme to make sure they're all aligned and together. And then from there, you can create your new look, your streamlined visuals, your graphic art, your website. All those things are the basis to start with. And then branding goes from there. So I hope that I've given you, in this short amount of time, some questions that you can start creating your brand Bible with. Your brand Bible is a working, living, breathing document, almost like a business plan. You have to continue to look at it. And as you add brands and products and services, keep editing it and keep making sure that you are updating it and keeping it alive and fresh. And sometimes it's important to actually revisit and rebrand yourself. We've seen companies do that over time. Think of Clorox back in the 50s now to today, and a host of other brands. You sometimes have to freshen it up. So keep this as your Bible to start with. And in this short amount of time, I do hope I was able to help a few of you with your branding. I want to hear back to see if you've created your brand Bibles. And I want to open it up now to a few questions, if we have any for me below.
Hey, how are you? That was amazing. I mean, I think you said some really great things to people. I wanted to ask you a question about focus groups. People sometimes say, oh, that sounds expensive, that sounds big. Do focus groups need to be big and expensive?
They do not. Actually, because we have a very informal way of communicating with our customer base, we did not do the formal stuffy questionnaire kind of sit down and be quiet and let me present to you. In fact, we actually rented a private room here I'm in Dallas, in Frisco, Haywire. They have a big upstairs area and invited people to come in, served appetizers, drinks, and passed all the samples and products around, and had all of our ambassadors talking to each person as they experimented with the brand. That was fun. It was lively, it wasn't stuffy, and we got exactly what we needed from it. And that was a cost of appetizers and drinks.
Isn't that wonderful? And remember, your friends are important. Like, invite your friend. When you're small, you have to bring them in the living room. So I think that was a really good point. The other thing I thought you said was, I think people don't spend time on brand voice anymore. Can you talk just a little bit more about that? Because I do think business to business thinks they need to be serious and professional.
Yes, right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, and I touched on it a little bit, but your brand voice is important to understand how you want to talk, how your customer wants to be spoken to. So when you go through those questions about all the other things we just addressed, about understanding who she is, where she lives, what she likes to eat, where she shops, her socioeconomic background, all those things will help you, form who she is. So when you understand who she is and you know how to talk to her, does she want to be spoken to in a very stuffy way? Or does she want to be conversed to and let's engage as girlfriends? Does she want more formal templates to show her how to create her new videos? You have to go through all those other questions before you know how to speak to her. So your voice is important, though, super important, but you can't get to your voice if you don't know who you're talking to yet. So you have to go through the process of answering those questions and getting that picture on your vision board for your business. Yes, do a vision board for your business. See her clearly and understand what is the best way to communicate. Excellent. So for us, she's an informal, curly girl who likes to engage with us. She wants to be on our Facebook page and our social media pages. She wants to be encouraged and for us to talk back and comment on her kids and her pictures and all. She wants that. So that's a girlfriend almost relationship. So you have to understand exactly what your customer wants.
Excellent. And the third question I saw somewhere along the line was, I love that you said it's okay to rebrand, because when people start out, and I work with a lot of small businesses that when they start out, their wife made it, their brother made it, and now they're starting to see success, and it's maybe not the look, the feel. So it's okay to people get angst about it, but my wife made it, or this was the brand I had from the beginning, but consumers don't like the name, or it's not. And so I loved what you said about be comfortable that as you evolve, it's okay to kind of rebrand.
It is absolutely okay to rebrand, especially if you start at small. Like we started on a small scale, so we rebranded before we went live into the stores and the shelves. But as you grow and continue to elevate, you totally can do that. It's absolutely okay. A lot of big brands have done it, so can you. And it's important to continue to evolve. It's part of evolution. You evolve or dissolve. You have to figure out where you want to be in this category, in this space. And I feel like it's important to understand that sometimes you don't get it right out the gate. Take a step back. Failure isn't final. It's just a forward pushing opportunity to grow and change and edit. So there you go. You edit and you keep it moving.
Exactly. Love it. The last question I'm going to ask for you is favorite book or blog that you felt, really added value to you in your journey, even though you have no curls on today.
I know. Well, I always get this question, but my number one book, and it's so ancient, everyone's read it, I'm sure, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. as a new business owner, it enabled me to look at money differently, to maintain more of my money versus expend it out. So it's not about how much you make, it's how much you retain. And my mindset of how to spend it, where to spend it, how to obtain it, shifted from that book. So I am so happy to have read it before I launched, because it really helped me be successful and maintain and grow.
Awesome. Well, one, congratulations on your success. Number two, thank you for sharing with other entrepreneurs. I just think that's such a big thing. And as the committee, when we were asking people, some people, I'm too busy, but you said I'm in. And we really, really appreciate that you bringing that knowledge and sharing with the community of women that are on here today.
Of course, this is Dallas. I mean, this is my home. Why wouldn't I?
And you're in Frisco. You're right down the street from us. You could have come to headquarters here.
Oh my gosh, you're in Frisco?
We are.
Start it next time.
Listen, everybody, just an amazing session. So again, thank you so much for having us. Reminder that you can go to the networking to see people. And again, it's up to you to make things happen. So go to networking, put in what you do, put in what you're looking for so that people can contact you. We also have the marketplace, which has got vendors and sponsors. So please go visit that, because you never know who you're going to find. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we have two amazing, amazing keynotes. So we want you to definitely come visit us. And last but not least, we can never do anything without our sponsors. And not only are they sponsors and they help us financially, they're also sponsors who believe in women and believe and have products that serve women entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, Thomson Reuters and Capital One. We are so excited that, wow, we've kicked off a great event, and we're really looking forward to seeing all of you back tomorrow for part 2 of Women of Innovation. Thanks so much.